Assalamualaikum everyone, Huzafa here from BITFX, and today we'll be going through the weekly outlook for 26th June till 1st of July, and we'll be going for the weekly outlook of Eurusd, Gbpusd, Nzdusd and Usd Cad. So let's start off with Eurusd. If we go to the weekly time frame, we can see that the market is almost at the all-time low for the Eurusd. It hasn't been till this point since 2016. So since 2016 it has come back to its all-time lows, and we can see that there is tons of liquidity present right here. So the all-time lows, they usually hold a lot of liquidity. We saw once market rejecting through this all-time low, second time market came and rejected from this all-time low. So this is one of our main points to be considered, that we have this liquidity below this all-time low, but as well as we have a strong demand area for Eurusd as well. So I'll mark this up. Let's go to the daily time frame first. Okay, now if we go to the daily time frame, what do we see? We saw market came down all the way till the all-time low without actually breaking it. So basically the demand of the all-time low was being respected right here. So we saw market came back, went all the way up and mitigated the order block right here, right? So it mitigated into this zone, into this area of supply, and came back down. It could have faked out this buyers right here, but still again it respected the area of demand right here as well, and it went on and pushed up. Now there are two possibilities right here. We can either continue up and break these highs from here, and then we can be considered bullish. Right now I'm still not bullish on Eurusd. Even after this structural break, I'm still not considering Eurusd bullish. So I'll only consider Eurusd externally bullish once I see the break of this structure. So for me, break of this high is really important to see whether this move is actually a manipulative move or not. Alright, second of all, the second criteria which can happen is we can see some rejection from these zones. So the area of breaker blocks right here, we can see market going up to these areas and then rejecting from here, coming all the way down and taking out these all-time lows. So what we have to do, we have to look for lower time frame confirmations. Once the market reaches here, all the BITFX students will be knowing what confirmations I'm talking about. And even for the buys, we will be looking at some lower time frame confirmations. If we can see potentially break of this Asian low and then some lower time frame confirmations around this area, would be nice to see. Mainly market is actually creating all this liquidity. So all this liquidity is being created right here. Okay, and we have the Asian low here as well. So most likely what we are going to see is market going up here, either breaking the highs, or it can reject from this zone and continue down, taking out the all-time lows for Eurusd. So the only time we'll be considering Eurusd externally bullish is after the break of this high, and once we break this low, we can be externally bearish as well. Alright, so for Gbpusd, as we can see on the daily time frame, we had this fake out right here. So we had a break of structure, and then there were buyers here who were induced, and market came down, took out their stop losses. So basically the buyers here were manipulated, right? So buyers were manipulated here. Now for Gbpusd, for the next week ahead, we can see two potential moves. One of them, which is we can see a sell-off from this area right here. So we'll be seeing some sort of sells continuing all the way down, but which is more likely to happen, or like the one which would be very confirmatory for us to take trades on for long term, would be if the market goes and breaks another high. So it's technically like double manipulation right here, right? once it makes another high, we can expect the market to come down into these areas right here and then continue up, filling up all these imbalances right here and up on the top for the long term. Okay, so if we see some sort of this price action, so if we see market breaking these highs again, so first what we will do, once the market is going up, we will be looking for some buys around these areas. Okay, so we'll still look for the buys on the lower time frames towards these area of supply. Okay, in this area of supply we'll be looking for lower time frame confirmations, and as soon as if we see any lower time frame confirmations, we can take the trade for the sells shorts here, right here. If we don't see the lower time frame confirmations, we won't be taking sells around this area, and potentially we'll be breaking this high in the future, and then we'll be tracing back to the origin, and from here we'll be looking for some buys for the long term. As well as if market goes up and breaks these highs, according to our teachings, we can expect a reversal from here as well. So from somewhere around this area only, we could see market come down, and we can have our lower time frame confirmations and take a short from this area as well for the GBP/USD. So main bias for now, technically we are in a bearish trend for GBP/USD, but looking at the markets, we could potentially break these highs and then continue up. If not, we'll be looking for sells from this area of supply right here. So this full area of supply, we'll be looking for sells on lower time frame confirmations and continuing down into these areas, creating even lower lows. For NZD/USD, we can see again similar thing which we have seen in GBP/USD, manipulation for the buyers. So market went ahead, created this area and broke a structure right here on the daily time frame. So the buyers were waiting for the buys around this area. So this area for demand, the buyers were actually waiting for buys, and the stop losses were below the lows, but market ended up taking out their lows. So similar analysis to GBP/USD, we can expect market to come back into these areas, so this area of supply, and drop from this all the way to where, all the way to the next area of demand, which could be this, or it can be taken as a liquidity as well. So this two trend line kind of thing can be taken as liquidity, and we could expect a downfall all the way till these legs. Okay, so these areas would be from which we could expect buying reversal powers. So we'll be looking for lower time frame confirmation into these areas as well as same as GBP/USD, we could expect the market to not respect this area of interest and continue up. So it can go make another higher high, and then this area of demand would become very strong. So if this happens, if market goes up, doesn't respect this POI and breaks the structure, will be coming back down, and we can expect strong buy opportunities from here. So we'll be looking at lower time frame confirmations from this zone and continuing all the way up till first target could be this area, second target can be this area, third target could be these highs. So each high could be your target as well. Okay, so NZD/USD sells from this area. If the sells are not respected, sells you're only gonna take with lower time frame confirmations. These weekly outlooks are based on higher time frames. Okay, the way we trade at BITFX, we look for extra confirmation, which around 5-15 minutes. Okay, so all these zones, whenever the market reaches them, we go on the lower time frame and we wait for the proper confirmations, and then we take the trades, not without proper confirmation. So all these areas should be respected accordingly if proper confirmation on the lower time frame is provided. Without proper lower time frame confirmations, we won't be entering any buys or sells, just to keep in mind. Okay, going on to USD Cad. Let's see. So as we can see on the daily time frame, USD Cad, we are bullish. We are in a bullish trend. You can clearly see market has been making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, recent structure, we had seen market came down and mitigated into this area of demand. Again, this demand pushed the market up, and did we or did we not break the high? Let's see. Yes, we did. So even with a minute break of structure, it's still considered as a break of structure. Okay, it was not a very strong one, which is pretty concerning, but then it is still a break of structure. So now, what areas can we look for to buy and sell? Firstly, to continue the shorts, I would potentially look for sells around this area for USD CAD, because even though we are bullish on USD CAD, we will still be coming and racing down, filling all these imbalances, and then continuing up from here. Or so the first thing would be potentially market retraces back to this order block on the week open, and we can see for lower time frame confirmations on this, and we could potentially get some sells to carry on down. Otherwise, it could go up, take out the previous week's high, and then drop down again. Two possibilities. Secondly, whenever the market comes down, this POI would be our area to look for buys. Alright, this area will be looking for buys on the lower time frame. So we're still bullish externally on USD CAD, but we'll be looking for some shorts to continue all the way down towards our buys. Alright, even in the sells, either we respect this area of interest, or either market tends to take the previous week's high as well. So if market wants the next week open, we could potentially sweep these highs. They're technically like equal highs, so we could potentially see the market sweeping up these highs. Okay, so next possibility could be market going up, taking this out, and then giving us some sort of structure to come back down to this zone and then continuing back up. This could be the potential number one. Potential number two for the trade, as we have explained, we'll respect this POI, come down, go back up. Thirdly, from either of these two scenarios, we could not respect the buys, and we could create another low. So the external low has been higher low has been broken, and after breaking this low right here, we could retrace back up, continue down externally. Alright, it's a little congested, little confusing, but it'll all make sense as we go throughout the week. Alright, so the weekly outlook has been done for USD, Gbpusd, Nzdusd, USD Cad, and hopefully you guys have a profitable week, an amazing week ahead, and make sure to smash those pips, smash those risk rewards, stay risk managed, and yes, see you in the next week.
Not clicking, pushing myself in the jump, they hop on my wave so they not different. Think it's funny how they plot switching, need the Guala, my fingers won't stop itching.